Hey guys, I just wanted to film a quick follow-up video to my original first impressions and unboxing video of the Koning Gloves from St. Marks. I had a chance to go out and spar with these 2 days ago and do a little bit of sparring yesterday, which I sadly didn't film, with these gloves to try to give them an initial test out. And on Friday night I also passed these around to a number of different fighters to get their impressions on what they thought of these gloves, do they think they would get them, that sort of thing. What were the pros and cons of these gloves, basically. So I actually took some notes that I'm going to be reading off of a little bit from the other fighters before I get into my thoughts. One fighter gave me a lot of really great data. He felt that these were very dexterous. They let him grip the sword in the way that he's used to gripping a sword, so he really liked that. He felt that the protection on these is actually on par with, or possibly better than, the Polish sparring gloves because of the actual steel plates, where the Polish sparring gloves are basically just thick material. He did think that they were a bit bulky, but he didn't really think that they were any more bulky than other gloves that are out there on the market right now. He still felt that he had a lot of mobility with this glove, and that the dexterity of it was pretty good, even considering it is bigger than we initially expected. He did admit that he doesn't think that these are going to be as protective as a steel clamshell, which is the older style of all steel clamshell glove that some people use. Those don't get much use in tournaments. I don't think steel gauntlets are actually allowed in tournaments for the most part, but they are really good for just your own private sparring and everything. So he did admit that this won't be as protective as a all-steel clamshell, but he's willing to sacrifice that protection for the mobility that this glove provides. His bottom line on this glove was basically that for how he fights, this is the glove for him. He was really excited about it, and he thought that it was just mobile, and anything that he thought was a deficient in protection, he was actually willing to make that sacrifice because of his perception of the mobility that these gloves give. So that was a nice review from him. Another fighter got to try them out, and he thinks that these gloves might be too small for him. He's not sure if his fingers were a little longer or what, but basically he was not able to comfortably grip the sword without having the plates kind of poke into his fingers, and he found that very painful. He says that might just be an issue with just them needing to be broken in, and he thought that the open hand on them was better than his Polish sparring gloves. Sadly, we didn't get an opportunity to grapple last night, do any arm-is-ar, but he would like to actually wrestle with these and see how they are at that, how they are at gripping and doing stuff in arm-is-ar or ring-in type situations. Another fighter that I talked to had tried out these gloves, and he actually found them to be very painful, and he's canceling his order, which, I asked why he was doing that and everything. Essentially, he was saying that the hits he was taking on the hand were so painful that they were stopping his matches. He would get hit, and the pressure of the plates, I'm imagining, hitting into his hands was harder than anything he'd felt before. He was saying that the hits he took with this glove were worse than with a sparring glove, with a number of other gauntlets. He actually listed off a few gauntlets that he's owned. He said he has the Black Lancer, the Comfort Fencing, which was his least favorite, the Polish sparring gloves. I think that was the majority. So in that fighter's opinion, these are actually too painful to be used for regular sparring. I thought that was interesting feedback because personally, I didn't have any issues with pain on Friday night when we were sparring. I didn't have any real issues with pain, and in the video I'm gonna the clips that are gonna follow this little talking point, you're gonna see that I allowed myself to take really heavy hits in the hands from people who were at the fighting night, and the main issue I found was with the cuff, the cuff that goes around the wrist here. So a few other fighters before I get into that. I had two fighters who basically their hands were too small, and these gloves actually fell off their hands while we were sparring, which was pretty incredible. For fighters with smaller hands, they are working on a smaller size glove, so if you liked the design of this, but it was just too small, then that option is coming. For fighters who have, who felt this was too small, they should also be doing a larger size. So this isn't the end all be all of this gauntlet even. All of the fighters pretty much gave the same feedback that these need to be broken in more, which is what I expected, and I think is pretty much the norm for any sparring glove we've come across so far. A lot of them tend to need a period of breaking in because they're very stiff. That said, my own input on the gloves from Friday night, initially they were very stiff, but after fighting for a while, they have started to break in nicely. I think just honestly sweating in them too helps the leather break in. In my first video, I noted that this the thumb bit kind of makes the German thumb techniques a little tricky, but last night when I was playing around with this, I was actually able to get that to work. Swords are still in their travel bag from Friday night, sorry. But basically, what I was trying to do was put the brown leather, or sorry, the tan inside leather against the sword, and that was creating, some problems. What I found is that you can actually push the tip, the red leather tip, right up against the flat. Not sure how well that'll show up, but basically it curves over a little bit, which actually helps protect your finger even more, and you can get that German thumb technique working. So, a little problem that I saw actually kind of got solved, which was neat. So, again, the breaking in was one of the big repeated comments about these gloves. The plates pinching in the fingers, something that I noted in my first video, was also noted by people whose hands, people who admitted that their hands might be a little bit too big. I feel like my hands are right about the right size, but I feel that pinching. When I wear leather gloves under these, however, it minimizes that, and I'm able to spar pretty comfortably, which is nice. Overall, some more notes from sparring. I did feel that these were about the same weight as other sparring gloves, in that when you're fighting, your arms do tend to get tired because you're carrying, more weight on your arms. One really nice thing is that the Spess elbow and forearm protector, which I have, works really well with these gloves. There's a lot of space inside the cuff for that forearm, that wrapping forearm protector to fit. Before, with my Polish sparring gloves, I have not been using the forearm. I've just been using the elbow, because the Polish sparring gloves forearm protection interferes with that so much that it makes it unusable. These gloves actually allow me to use that Spess forearm protector well. It fits nicely, it doesn't interfere with each other, I can still move around. However, the more armor you put on, the more weight you're carrying, so I noticed that my arms were getting a little more tired because I have the the forearm protection and the gloves on both arms. And also I haven't sparred in about 2 months, so the video you're about to see of me getting these tested and everything, for one, I haven't sparred in 2 months, and for two, I'm actively trying to get hit in the hands to test these. So if my fighting looks sloppy and I'm getting hit in the hands a lot, it's mostly intentional. Without further ado, let's take a look at some footage of me getting hit in the hands initially, and then I also have some clips of me manipulating various swords and doing some fighting from first person. Sadly, a lot of the footage was not very good, so I've had to cut a lot of it out. But anything that's good, I left intact, and yeah, let's take a look. All right.
Oh, nice.
Aiden is up right now. Next up is Tim and Mitchell.
Oh, the sun.
Out of the sun.
Nice. Oh.
They're nice. They almost feel a little bit short on my fingers. My hands are usually small, but I felt like
Huh.
I was gripping. It felt tight on my fingers.
Yeah, sometimes the plates will kind of like crunch in there a little bit. Up now is Mitchell. Up next is Eric. Oh, gear. Well, I wish I'd been filming that. Oh my God. Woo! Happy birthday!
It's just what I asked for.
Nice. All right. This is Joe. Wow.
Dunka. I got so many germs
Oh yeah.
and touching.
So much touching.
They feel stiffer than my Spec Heavies do, mostly because
Is my red leg going?
Solid. Yeah, it's blinking.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
but
Up next is me. After me, it is Beth.
I'm like almost done.
Yeah, tonight's testing night. They're doing all right. That's the general feedback, is that they definitely need breaking in. And can you feel the plates when you close your hand? Like, yeah.
Mine was rubbing most against my index.
Same index finger for me too. Like yeah. There's a lot of extra plating on the outside, and that might be what's rubbing there, huh?
Yeah.
Phew. Always good. More feedback.
I don't think I fought you since like
Since I came down to Tacoma, I think it's been a long time. I've also been out there because I have a herniated disc, which is no fun.
I'll refrain from like doing main and breaking your backs.
Right? I'm just taking it easy. Oh, good one.
Couple more.
Sure. Whew. All right, one more. Nice. Sweet.
Good fight.
Whew. A lot of gear on the arm right now. I truly don't fight with those anymore. All right.
Laterally on those thrusts. Diagonal.
All right, one more pass.
Sure.
Nice. Woo. Yeah.
Alright, so I hope that gave you a decent idea, or at least an initial impression of what fighting is like in these gloves, what kind of movement you can expect out of them. Just the general comments again, just to summarize. They're a little bit bigger than expected, but I find them surprisingly mobile still. And one thing that I liked is that I'm able to fight very naturally with these. I put them on, I started fighting, and I didn't have to account for anything. I wasn't modifying my fighting a lot. It just kind of lets you do what you want to do, which I really like. The cons, naturally, they need to break in, as with any sparring glove. There is some pinching with the plates, which I've offset by using leather gloves inside of them. Other people may need to offset by getting a smaller or larger size. Yeah. That's pretty much all of the data, everything I have to say on them right now. Right now I'm pleased with these, but I'm going to have to see how they do in the future. How do these hold up? Are they going to stay mobile, or are they going to break apart? That remains to be seen, really, how well these gloves do in the future. This is still kind of the first impressions stage of testing, so yeah. Hope this is useful to you, and if you have any comments or concerns, please leave them in the comments below. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for watching. Please hit subscribe and check out some of these other videos.